Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Click and Cliff. This is a podcast that I give you to experience about my life and stuff like that. So I nothing to do with Lego. This is a Lego channel, but this is just a little vlog, or not vlog, but podcast. Me just telling life experiences, life lessons. Got something in my eye, but and I tell you all a little story about me and my childhood. Now I know I don't live a great life, but we get by. Last week I talked about what did I talk about last week? I don't even remember. Uh, I'm sure it was boring. I don't know. Uh, yeah, I don't know what I talked about last week. I don't even have my phone here to go look. But anyway, we'll just get into this week. Let's worry about the present, not worry about the past, right? But the video will be on here at the end of this podcast, so if you want to go check it out and check out all my other podcasts, that's where we do it at. But today I'm just kind of going to talk about my worst case scenario in driving. Now, I did a podcast before, I may have touched on it a little bit, but I want to go get a little bit more detail about kind of rough and tough I did on vehicles, self-conflicted, and I had to learn from my mistakes, right? That's what they say, you learn from your mistakes. So I had to learn from a lot of mistakes. But I'll take you back, way back, when I was about 5 years old, maybe a little bit more. I was at my uncle's house. He was watching me, and he's a preacher, so I had to be really good at trying his patience, right? Well, one Sunday afternoon, I decided I want to go hang out with him in between services and spend the day with him. So that's what we did. I spent the day with him, and got bored. I don't know where I found this marker, but I found this permanent marker. And my cousin's, she just learned how to drive. She had a Thunderbird that she was driving, and I got bored, found a Sharpie or a permanent marker, and I went out to her car and colored in her license plate. They had all the numbers and letters. I just covered it all, just marked it all up, the front and the back. Well, I didn't know any better. I should know not to mark on stuff other than paper or what I'm supposed to do. Nah, not me. I decided to fill in her license plate and then she, of course, didn't notice, and she got in her truck or car, and this is in Kansas City, so there was a lot of cops there. And she drove, and I guess she got pulled over because of it. She didn't even realize what I did. And of course, I didn't, tell anybody. I just got done with that, and I went back and done whatever I did next. But my uncle called my mom and asked for her to ask me what did I do if I did that, and I go, yeah, I did that. Boy, and I got in trouble. As usual. Just got in trouble by my dad, by my uncle. I had to go over there, and I think I had to wash her car for punishment, and it wasn't fun. That then brings me up to the next part of the chapter in my life where I didn't touch a vehicle until I was maybe 14. Well, I got bored again. My dad had a truck, an old Toyota pickup. My dad, had. They went out on Friday night. I was 14. I stayed at home because I don't go out with them after 14. No, I stayed home and watched TV or played, hang out with my friends or whatever. After chores were done, of course. Well, I got bored, and my dad was the type always. We lived out in the country, so he left his keys in his truck. He didn't put them in his pocket or nothing. So I knew there was gonna be keys in it. So I went out there and I started it up. I want to take this down the road and back. Couldn't be that hard. Well, got in the truck, went down the road, and for some odd reason, dumb luck, the motor blew. It was an automatic, so, I mean, I didn't rev up the motor. I just took off, I knew how to drive because I drove on the farm all the time, hauling hay and stuff, but I never did take it on the road or anything like that. So, yep, went down. I don't know, I was a mile away from the house. Not even around my property, around the property that we had. And I blew the motor, I guess. I didn't have cell phones back then, so I went and I walked back to the house, waited there. My dad pulls in, he gets out, and I heard him say, "Clifford!" Oh, yeah. Why is my truck down there on the side of the road? I said, because it quit running. He goes, what? I go, it quit running. So, of course, we went down there and the motor was blown. He was not happy. So we had to go get the tractor and pull it back to the house and asked me why did I get in his truck? I said, because I was bored. And it wasn't my fault, but not. Because next time he got in the truck, he'd have done the same thing. So, blew my dad's motor in one truck. Well, let's go fast forward for 2 more years when I turned 16, got my license. I bought me a Chevy S10. Saved up my money. I was working at the grocery store at that time, I believe, and I just saved up my money, and I only paid like $1,500 for this pickup. Nothing fancy. It was just a truck, but it was mine. I was happy. Wish I had pictures. I'd show it to you. It was a Chevy S10 long bed, 2-wheel drive, and I put roll bars in it. Why? I don't know. Stupid, but I did it anyway. It wasn't 4-wheel drive. It had those little 14 rims on it. Wasn't a 4-wheel drive, but hey, I had an imagination. It was a standard, so it wasn't automatic. And I didn't know how to drive a standard. So my dad knew. Of course, me and him butted heads. I thought I knew it all back then. I thought I knew how to do everything, but he tried to teach me. I would not learn. He gave up. He said, "I can't teach you. You won't listen to me." So he said, "We're not going back out till you think you can start listening." So one day I go, "Well, you know what? I'm going to show him. I'm going to do this." And he's not, So I get in my truck one day, grinding gears, riding the clutch. For about a week, I taught myself how to drive a standard. Got it licensed up and started driving it towards work and stuff, but I didn't really teach myself the right way because I rode the clutch all the time. And I burned out my clutch. Me and Dad spent all Saturday putting a new one in. And then I did it again. So we got pretty good putting clutches in. I finally learned not to ride the clutch. Well, that was my other problem. For some odd reason, I thought the fluids would refill themselves. I never would have to check the fluids. So, kaboom, blew the motor in that truck. God bless. So parked the truck, save up money, put a new motor in it, which I did. But we in the meantime, my dad had another Toyota pickup. He likes Toyota. It wasn't because American made or non-American made. He just liked Toyota because they ran forever. The body would fall off before the motor would go. I put that to the test. So he let me drive that to work and school and stuff, and because he had another pickup that he drove, and he was a farmer, so he stayed. I mean, he didn't really leave. He just had the truck so he had a farm truck that he used to go get feed and whatever he needed from the MFA or feed store. But he did do so he had that truck. I drove it, and then we had these places where I grew up where they call the mines. It used to be a coal mines in my town, but they shut down and all that. Non-operational was just there. It was just a big old mud pit, and us teenagers took our trucks out there and went mudding it. We're not supposed to, but we did anyway. So we went out to the mines in my dad's Toyota. It wasn't a 4-wheel drive. It was a 2-wheel drive, but it was stacked high, and we had big old mud tires on it. And there I go, I'm gonna go play. So I took Dad's truck and played in the mines all day. I mean, mud covered. And I knew I was gonna go wash the truck. So I went to the car wash after we were done. The truck was all covered in mud. Went to the car wash and I washed the truck off, get the mud off. I thought Dad ain't gonna notice. He just thinks I went and washed his truck for him, as a payback from me drive it. Well, I didn't think about the undercarriage, and I got a mile away from home in the drive shaft. Just don't. Oh, crap! So I called Dad. This time we had those old brick cell phones. I called Dad. He came out and I said, I don't know what. I was driving home and the drive shaft just fell off. And he looked underneath. He goes, where were you been? I said, I've just been driving. He goes, where were you driving at? And I said, on the road. He said, don't lie to me. I said, what do you mean? He goes, there is so much mud underneath here, it's not even funny. I'm like, yeah, well, we also drove in the mines. He goes, what? I said, yeah, we went playing in the mines. He just shook his head. He goes, I don't know what I'm going to do with you. So, went and drove that truck home and washed out the bottom, put a new U-joint, I think, then we need to put on there. It was crazy. Me and my look on vehicles was not great. Well, you figure out, it happened to me once. Shame on me. Now here's the second story. Got my S10 fixed, got it out. This time I graduated high school. And I started working. I think I was a volunteer firefighter then. I wasn't full-time until 2020. So I graduated in 98. So I think I was working at the machine shop. Started working every day, 40-hour week, I finally got, I got tired of that truck. Now I went and bought me a F-150. A little bigger truck, still a 2-wheel drive, but it's a bigger truck, standard. So I sold my S10 and got me a bigger truck. Started driving it back and forth. And, I did check the fluids when I was as much. So when I was coming home, and a big old puff of smoke came out from underneath my truck through my vents in my cab whip. I blew that motor. So I had to go, motors ain't cheap. So I went to the junkyard and got me a motor for $500 and slapped that thing in there, and then I went to go trade it off. And this is year 2021, because I just started the fire department, and that's when I bought my very first brand new truck off the car lot, and I traded that thing in. I didn't get very much money for it. I got, I don't know, maybe $800 for the pickup, but I didn't care. I saw that new truck. I wanted the new truck, and I wanted it, so I got it. So I went and got that truck. And anyway, and I still own that truck till today. We're just not having problems with it. I mean, I've had it brand new since 2021. 2001. Sorry, 2001 was when I bought it, brand new. And it's 2023, so that thing lasted 12 years. Nothing really, had no problems with it, other than the normal stuff. I had to buy a new battery, and I think I had to change the alternator and starter, but the motor would sound good, and still good. It's rolled over, I think, twice now, so it's been used. And we are going to get a new vehicle, just because, but I'm probably going to keep that truck, have it as a backup truck. My daughter may be driving it just around town, so it can still be driven around town at least. But anyway, never had a real problem with that truck. So, but it was an automatic. Maybe the standard is the problem. I don't know. But needless to say, we will be getting a new vehicle. But guys, you know what? Maybe my luck with vehicles may change. Who knows? I doubt it, because it just happens. I think now we need a water pump for the truck. So that's broke down right now, but we're going to get that fixed today. So, anyway, guys, I think this is going to be it, today's podcast of me and my vehicle troubles. If you like it, please hit that like button, of course. And, if you like what you saw, subscribe. I'll have a Beyond the Cliff every week, and they may be changing. So keep an eye out for you if you enjoy this kind of podcast. But yeah, of course, comment down below and tell me your stories. If you have good luck with vehicles like I had, put them down in the comments. Maybe, we can help each other keep fluids. Who knows? But, yeah, I don't know. A little side note on the dad's Toyota, that went mudding in, broke down right by a car dealership, and I had to use their phone too. And they go, "You need a new truck?" Nope. Well, looks like you do. I said, nah. Anyway, guys, until next one, be good to each other, pay it forward, be nice to one another. This cruel world, just be nice. And until next time, guys, later, bye-bye.